What's going on, guys? It is Michael, and look at the guy behind me right there. The return of Thor, and I would much rather visit Slap City than Snap City on Deadlift. Trying out a little slap in the back, seeing if it works, but Thor, aka Daniel, aka Canada, aka Maple Syrup, was back in town. He lives up in Iowa now, so it's always good to see him every time he comes back. We always have good workouts, and you're also going to see some clips of Ryan in here. It was the first time that my two training partners, Daniel and Ryan, have met in real life, so it was just a really intense workout. One thing that I'm really kind of thinking about this summer is switching gyms. The gym that you see here is the school gym that I go to, and for some reason they hate deadlifting because it makes too much noise, and they are under the assumption that it will damage the floor. And I don't want to break any rules or make anyone angry because I do like the gym, but I'm thinking about switching for the summer to a gym that's a little bit more hardcore, I guess, and kind of encourages that kind of behavior, because this was one of the best workouts that I had. We created a good environment, and you can say that anywhere. I used to work out in a gym where it was primarily old people. Some of the older viewers might remember that, and I just couldn't get as good of a workout because the environment sucked. And then I moved here, the environment's a little bit better, and it was even better when Daniel and Ryan were both there. We were deadlifting pretty heavy weights, positivity, encouraging each other, and that's what I look for in a gym, and it's really hard to find in this area. At the start of the video, I did 455 for a triple, and I started saying I'm tripping every time I do a set of 3 of deadlift, so I was tripping pretty heavy right there. And then I ended up doing 500 for 1. If you guys remember the last deadlift video I posted, I did a 5 plate, and that was a PR. But if you go watch the 500 again in this video, it wasn't as clean, and that's why my reaction after I did it just wasn't the same. I wasn't as confident. I didn't have that same expression because I knew it wasn't as clean of a rep. But that's going to happen anytime you go with max weight, and I'm pretty sure that's because I did 455 for 3 prior. And then you saw we did some squats after we finished our deadlifts, so 4 sets of squats, and I also worked up pretty heavy for me on the squats. I'm still working on keeping my elbows in, trying to stay a little bit more upright, but after deadlifting all that weight, it was a little harder to, I found. And then here I'm doing some leg extensions, so we did around 4 sets of deadlifts, 4 sets of squats, and then 3 sets of these leg extensions. And I used to hate deadlifting and squatting on the same day because I felt like it took a lot out of me, and it was really tough, and it still is. But after I've done it for a couple months, it's gotten a lot easier. Usually every Saturday I will deadlift and squat, and that's what you're seeing here. This is from last Saturday. And then you guys just saw there I was doing some seated leg curls, and to finish off the workout I did 5 sets of standing calf raises on the Smith machine. Another thing that I wish this gym had was a seated calf raise. I've used them before, and I feel like I can get a much better contraction, or just a better standing calf machine that you don't have to kind of create yourself with the box and the Smith machine. This still works really well. One thing that has helped me a lot on the calf raise is not to bounce at the bottom of the movement. I try to come to a complete stop and then explode up, because sometimes you'll see people just using the stretch reflex and just bouncing up and down, and they won't actually be contracting their calves. So smooth, controlled motion, hold it at the top and the bottom. My calves aren't huge, but it's just little things that I picked up along the way. And after we finished up this workout, we had to go get some Qdoba. I got 2 of these burritos. I kind of figured out the macros. It was like 1,800 calories. But after that workout, that took a lot out of us. I really needed a lot of food, and I ate them both all the way. Great workout. Great to see old friends. And that's it for the video. So if you liked it, you can give it a like. Feel free to comment down below if you want. Here's 2 more videos. On the left, I have a post-workout protein shake if you want to check that out. And on the right, I have my latest day of eating. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will talk to you later.